good day and all that.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video my friends. Today in this one we're gonna be looking at Crimson Desert, the most beautiful looking game of this year, at least up until now. There are rumors of GT6 coming in November of this year, but let's see what happens. Anyways, for the system specs, we are using Radeon RX 9060 XT, 16GB model of the GPU, pairing it with Ryzen 7 7800 XT processor and 16GB of DDR5 memory. The full list of specs are in the video description my friends. You can go and see everything. And for the graphic settings, everything is cranked up to the maximum, which is the cinematic settings preset of this game. Ray tracing is also turned on, and we are using the native upscaler of FSR4, the native anti-aliasing, and resolution is 1080p. Let's start counting the FPS. Performance is phenomenal my friends. We are getting 60 FPS, around 60 FPS all of the time, wherever you go. Occasionally during rains, it drops down to like higher 50s, but that's about it my friends. Each and everything is so super detailed. The texture around everything is so sharp and so detailed. It's rare to find these things in any games nowadays. Look at those ray tracing reflections on the ground. Let's try to go somewhere else. A little bit more vegetation around us. The draw distance is also crazy my friends in this game. We can see everything over there. And it's so far from us. It's crazy to think about it my friends. The black space engine is really something else man. Crazy shit man. Well, aside from the graphics, there are few issues in this game, my friends. Like, the controls are super weird. You know, horse riding is a bit of a mess in this game. You can't really make your horse run with keyboard and mouse. Especially if you have the sticky key enabled, which gets enabled if you press shift for like 5 times in a row. And actually, you know, to make your horse run, you gotta keep tapping the shift button, which is actually crazy. If you are on a controller, I think you gotta be tapping the A button, I guess.
Yeah.
But This is the default running without consuming any stamina, and it's kinda slow actually. But if you keep tapping the shift, you see there is a stamina bar over there. It will deplete if you keep tapping the shift, and the horse will run really fast. But you can't really do that on keyboard and mouse if you are using the sticky key. Maybe you gotta change something in the Windows settings, I guess. And overall, the mapping of all the controls are super weird. Like for changing the weapons, you gotta be holding the F2 and then head over to each of the categories and then scroll down, scroll up to change the weapons over there. There is a helmet that shows the past memories around the world, similar to what Division 2 echoes are like. That thing is so hard to use, my friends. A lot of people might not do that actually. Oh shit. This is also a bug, my friends. When you ride horse around people, even if you don't touch them, they will fall on the ground. You know, this breaks the harmony of the game. In towns, if you do this, your reputation might get lost around that place.
Hiya.
But aside from all those small issues, if you are just exploring the open world and everything, it's so good, man.
Ho.
Alright, now let's use the ray regeneration, the feature that AMD introduced in this game. Let's turn off the overlay for now. Let's see how much FPS we're getting. We're getting around 72 FPS. And turning on ray regeneration will reduce the FPS quite a lot, my friends. Especially if you're not using any upscaling. We're using the native upscaler for now of FSR 4. And it will be crazy, my friends. Even the mighty 5090 dropped the FPS to 30 FPS. Even below 30 FPS, I think, at 4K cinematic settings. Let's see how much we are getting. Wow, we are getting around the same FPS, my friends. We are getting around the same FPS. The FPS which 5090 is getting at 4K. If you see any video out there, 5090 will get the same FPS around 4K with cinematic settings. Well, let's use FSR 4 on quality. That will improve things by quite a lot. Alright, FSR 4 quality, ray regeneration is on, and using the cinematic preset, let's start counting the FPS. And now it's super playable, my friends. No issues whatsoever. I think it will be around this FPS actually. High 40s, low 50s, sometimes around 60s, but no more all-time 60 plus FPS. But it's not big of a deal, can be played like this. I'm worried about what will happen when it's raining, because when it's raining, performance drops quite a bit. Normally, when we are around like 60 to 70 FPS in normal daytime, during rain it drops to like higher 50s, lower 50s sometimes. Now we are in lower 40s, my friends. Honestly, I can't seem to find much of a difference when using the ray regeneration. I have I have closely monitored the reflections on the ground, on the water surfaces, and honestly there's not much of a difference considering the performance hit we are getting. It's not worth it, my friends, honestly. The game already looks so gorgeous, my friends. There's no need for such unnecessary stuffs actually. However, if they optimize it in future at any point. Oh shit. Enemies when we are already struggling with FPS. That's great, my friends. What happened over here? Blocked road. Well, not blocked for us, right? There's so many bandits around here, my friends. I gotta visit this place sometime later. Take care of all of them. Alright, let's use the ultra settings preset now. Let's see what changes were made in here. Well, don't think much of a difference. It's exactly the same. Only everything got changed to ultra. Right? Start counting the FPS. Not big of a difference actually. It's like 10 more FPS, I think. The one thing I like about this game, my friends, is that there is no need for playing this game on high resolution actually. You get everything at your native resolution, which is not there in many games actually. Especially when comparing this game to RDR2, since their visuals are quite comparable. In RDR2, my friends, you might notice a bit of blurriness around everything you see, especially if you are playing on a lower resolution like 1080p. Everything you look around, suppose there's a tree over there, there's grass on the ground. When you are looking at it from a far away, or when there's a lot of grass over there and you are not really noticing them, it will look good. But when you look at the individual grass, or at suppose a lamp post over here or anything particular, things will look a lot blurry, my friends. Just look at Arthur's hair, my friend. You see everything will there be a lot blurry. Also the trees, the leaves on the trees, my friends. You see now I can easily spot the leaves over there on those trees far away, but you can't really do that on RDR2. And if you increase the resolution just slightly, just from 1080p to 1440p, you will see a massive difference in everything. The sharpness, the image quality, the detailing on everything. It's a night and day difference, my friends, and especially when you are playing on 4K, it will look a completely different game, my friend. Trust me. But if you are on a 1080p display, you might think that you're stuck at the 1080p resolution, but that's not it, my friends. See, there's a resolution scaling thing in RDR2. I will discuss about it more in my RDR2 video, but yeah, there is a resolution scaling thing in the settings, which you can increase to increase your in-game resolution. By default, I think it's set to 1, I think, and I guess 1.3 is around 1440p, and if you increase it to like 2x, I think it will be 4K. The scaler can go up to 2.5x, but 2.5x is not 4K. 2x is 4K. So yeah, you can play around with that in RDR2 if you want. Just try it, my friends, and you will see a massive difference in image quality. Anyways, which is clearly not a thing in this game. As you can see, everything looks so sharp and detailed, my friends. The rocks on the ground, the grass blades, particle effects on the sky, tree trunks, branches, leaves, flowers, my character hairs, his equipments, everything is so sharp and detailed. And also you can like break everything you want around the world. Destruction is crazy in this game, my friends. The only downside is the controls, the key mappings actually. If they fix it at some point in time, this game will be wonderful, my friends. A lot of people can enjoy it then. Right now I'm seeing a lot of my friends are complaining about the controls, and also a lot of people in general are not happy with the controls actually. But I haven't yet played this game with controller. People say with controller it's a completely different story. Not sure about that. I will definitely give it a try. Alright, now using the 1440p resolution, using the same ultra quality preset. Let me show you the settings. Here, as you all can see, resolution is 1440p and the native upscaler of FSR 4, and using the ultra quality preset, let's start counting the FPS. It's super playable, my friends. There's no issues.
Hiya. Ho. Yeah.
And as you all can see, now it's raining. After some time, performance will drop slightly.
Hiya.
By the way, it's like 4:25 p.m. in game time. It's about time for the night actually.
Get going.
Alright, now we're using 4K ultra quality preset. Let me show you the settings real quick. Here, as you all can see, we are using the 4K resolution with FSR4 set to native, and here, as you all can see, everything is set to ultra quality. Let's start counting the FPS. It's gonna be a console-like experience, my friends, with the FPS always around 30. It will be like 30, 28, 29. Yeah. Maybe it will drop below that actually. Not sure about that, but I guess it will. So far it's consistent. Well, if you are planning to play this with a controller, you might consider playing it like this, but I would not recommend it like this, man. 30 FPS is a lot low actually, especially for this game. A lot of fights are so fast paced actually, and there also will be a lot of enemies around you. 30 FPS is not recommended, man. Let's use some upscaling. FSR4 quality will improve things massively, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, now it's absolutely playable. Everything is insanely detailed, my friends. Well, if you have 4K TV, you can definitely play this game with this GPU. For me, I am playing on a 24-inch monitor with 1080p as the native display. I might not see the big picture here, but you can if you have a 4K 32-inch monitor or TV.
Yeah.
That's it for this video, my friends. Thank you for sticking to the end. And if you liked our video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel and hit the notifications to never miss any upcoming content. And as always, hoping to see you all in our upcoming videos. Until then, take care and happy gaming.